Welcome to this week's edition of Mom's Diary on Delta Television, Asaba, the People's Pride, one program that targets mothers, care for children, upbringing, and of course, every mom's experience as a mother. This week on Mom's Diary, we'll be sharing on parenting of adult children. Yes, you heard me right. Parenting of adult children. What does it take to parent adult children? Is there any difference between parenting adult children and younger children? A big yes. So much differences that we'll be talking on Mom's Diary this week. And so our first segment will be hitting the streets to talk to a few moms on their experience as mothers to adult children. From one mother to the other, trust me, the story will be different. Join me.
My name is Bridget Agetu. I'm a mom to young adult children and one teenager. So it's not been easy raising young adult children. The watchword there is discipline. From the scratch, you just have to state what you want your children to be, how you want them to relate with you and others when you're not there. To raise children nowadays is totally different from what we were used to. For me, I had this method of making sure I'm a friend to my children so that they can open up to me and talk to me. These days, the way we mothers are raising our children, we are raising them to become so, they are not so useful to us. You have a child of 15, 16, 17, and you are washing their clothes. It's so bad. You just have to inculcate discipline into them. That's your clothes you must wash. You must clean the house. You must be able to mingle with people. You don't just wake up one morning and tell me you are walking out of the house without telling me where you are. I have to know where you are. So I took that responsibility of making friends with my children's friends. I know their homes. I know their parents. So if you're not relating with me carefully at home, I try to discourage you from your friends. I also go to the school. If I know you are misbehaving, I try to know who your friends are in schools, what you're doing in school. So if I am not happy with your situation, with what you're doing in school, I cut you off. Like a saying my mother used to tell us, he said, okra, not they grow past the best way plant them. So by the time you are not living according to my rules in my house, I bend you. You must be disciplined. Discipline is my watchword. So it's not easy taking care of young adult children, but you must mix love. You must correct your children with love. Don't say, I will not give you food because you have done this thing, or you lock your child outside. You are throwing her or him to the wolves. And when you do that, you find yourself in a very compromising situation. So you must correct your children with love and try to discipline them. Discipline, they say, is the watchword. Don't spoil your children. Don't spare the rod and spoil the children. You must apply the rod. And with that, you'll be able to have a very better home for yourself and for your children in future. They'll be able to relate with people and people will like them. And they'll be able to prove you that you are so. The name that you bear is from a home, not from the gutters.
My name is Edna Obaniedo. I am a mom to teenage and early adult children. And talking about raising teenage and early adult children that's in a whole class on its own, because compared to when they were younger, they were cute, and as of that time, mommy was everything to them. If you say sit, they sit. Then growing up, honestly, it's a whole different ballgame right now, because they have a mind of their own, and you will agree with me that the Gen Z children, as how they are being called, they are more brazen. They want to do things on their own. They don't want to listen to instructions. They don't want to hear your own experience on what life is all about. They want to create theirs. They want to be independent in their thought processes, in their actions, in everything they want to do. They want to be independent. They don't want to rely on our past experiences. They actually tell you that you are old school. Come on. I mean, wow. Well, as for raising them, I have discovered something that I need to be a lot more patient with them. Raising teenage children in this generation is way different from the way we were raised as teenagers by our parents. It was more like a dictatorship when we were growing up. But now is more of a democracy. You have to negotiate, you have to talk with them, you have to explain your actions to them. And then if they want to, they accept it. Well, yeah, sometimes I still have to enforce it. You need to accept it. Because while I am kind of in between, like a modern old school mom, I can still come out the gangster on them when it's necessary. Because if you don't, these kids will push. They want to push the lines. They want to know how far they can go. They want to test the boundaries. And sometimes if you are not standing your ground, you lose it. They learn a lot of things, not from us parents now. You know, they have access to 24 hours internet. So they hear a lot of things, they see a lot of things. And when they come home, they want to push, they try to be patient. I can also be very headstrong with them, you know. And then also the carrot and stick approach, you know. Calm today, tomorrow, I'm not the calm mom, you know. I take it up a notch. I bring down the skies to them and tell them you can't walk down. It is either my way or the highway. Either you accept it or you don't. Because come on, it's still my roof, and my rules. You can't come and make rules to me. I'm still the parent, and I will not in any way cede my authority to the children. But at the same time, I will still be patient. And then I'm an African mom. I'll be prayerful, guiding them with the word of God, and then disciplining them according to what they are doing. And also sometimes I allow them make the mistakes. Something happened recently. My son was to go to school. They're having their school week. He was to go to school in his native attire. But he was like, I don't want to. I want to wear something else. And I was very calm. The dad told him, he said, no, that's what he wants to do. He went to school and he was sent back home because he has to wear the native attire. And I asked him, is this not disobedience to constituted authority, both at home and in school? And he said he was sorry. And I told him something. I'm in a very good mood today. Otherwise, you would have gone back to that school with that uniform. And whatever the teacher wants to do to you, 100% my support. So yeah, raising children, especially teenage children and early adult children, in the times that we are in, you have to put in extra efforts to ensure that they come out successful in their chosen adventures in life. It has not been easy, but we keep pushing, we keep the grind going.
All right, you can tell that the difference is truly clear, taking care of younger children and adult children. And from one mom to another, the experience is completely different. God indeed will help us to take care of our adult children. is another segment of Mom's Diary right here. Join me to welcome to the studio our mom, a mom to adult children, an industrious mom at that, an industrialist and an agriculturalist. Join me to welcome to the studio Madam Uzuzi Ipaona. So good to have you. It's my pleasure, you know.
Yeah.
Welcome to Mom's Diary. All right, so good to have you, Madam Uzuzi Ipaona. Wow, good to have you here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. So how's it been generally? How's life been with you generally?
It's been fine, though it's not been easy. Raising children is really challenging.
Okay, raising children is really challenging. Now, reflecting back to when you started as a mom, from your first child to the second, to the third, and to the number whatever, how has it been from the beginning to where we're at now?
It has been interesting.
Beautiful.
Even though it's challenging, but it's a beautiful experience. It's really not easy. You still need this mental stability to raise children. You need to be mentally stable to actually raise children. From when they are kids, you think it's easy. The only challenge you have then is like the chores and all that. But it gets to a point where you really need God to be involved in the affairs of raising the children. It's not easy, really. It's not easy. Because there are times you think you are getting it right and it's not right. But in and out, you will still see the children you are raising, they are all not the same. So you need different talents to raise them differently.
I like that, different talent. Different approach.
Different approach. Yeah, that's the right word. You need different approach to raise them differently. The way you raise your first child will be different from the way you will be raising the second one. If you use the approach you use for the first one, for the second one, you will not get it, because we are all different. Individual differences. So there are children you raise, you scream, they will take it as though my mom used to scream. They will still learn with that. There are the ones you will scream at and they will shock and like they won't learn anything. Yes, okay. They won't learn anything from it. Okay. When you scream, they will shock. Okay. Do you understand? And they will be withdrawn. But there are the ones you will scream at and say, "Mommy, I've done it. I've finished. Mommy, I will soon do it." You understand? Okay. But there are the ones you scream at and they will lose focus. You understand? So we have different children, so we use different approach to raise them differently. That's the word.
Okay, you have them like you mentioned off camera. You have your children, both males and females.
Yeah.
What's the experience raising a male child and a girl child? Are they really distinct? Are there distinctions, or would you say they are the same? You can actually share with us on that.
No, they are not the same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like my son, it got to a point that I will have to, I pray he's not saying this, I will have to pretend.
How would you pray he doesn't see this?
I will have to pretend to shed tears.
Okay.
And it touches him. He doesn't want to see my tears. Okay. So immediately he will say, "Mom, please, I won't do that again." Do you understand? But with my girl, my first daughter, when you shed tears, that one doesn't move him. Say, "Mom is just," it doesn't move her. Say, "Mom is just trying to be dramatic."
Oh, really?
You understand?
I can imagine these children. How much they know first.
But
really?
my son will, like, after a while, he will come calling that, "Mommy, are you still angry with me? I'm really sorry. I didn't mean it that way." You understand? So you see that aspect really touched him. But the sister is different. Later, she will just come around and stand by the door to my room and say, "Mom, why were you trying to be that dramatic?"
For real?
Yeah.
So, like, whatever you're doing is just for yourself. You're just really being dramatic. Before the male child, it gets to him.
So I have to learn another approach.
Okay. To dealing with the girl.
Dealing with the girl.
Okay.
You understand? So there are times you are through with your business and you just think you need to rest, but you go through that mental stress to teach yourself on how to handle them.
Okay.
You understand? There were times that how I even got it right from the beginning was where I would say, see, you must tell me the truth. When you tell lies, you will go to hellfire. So it became a slogan to them. They will talk to themselves, you know you won't tell mommy lies because if you tell lies, you will go to hellfire. So once you use that, you say, oh, Mom, please, let me tell you the truth. This is the truth. No, it wasn't like that. It was like this. So you will see them coming out to telling you.
To open up to you.
Open up to tell you what actually happened. You understand? That one, it took me a while before I was able to get that.
To catch that trick.
So it's really not easy. But you will see that by the time they grow to teenagehood, to adulthood,
Where they are now, yeah?
where they are now, that's your style won't work anymore.
Yes, I was going to come to that. Let's look at it this way. How would you compare raising, you've been there, from the beginning when you were raising them to where they are now? What are the differences, those very distinct things you want to share with us on Mom's Diary right here?
Yeah, it's a very interesting experience raising children.
Okay.
There are times you see them come up to you with questions that you really don't think will come from that age.
When they were much younger.
When they were much younger. There was a day my daughter, my last child, I was driving, she was behind and she asked, Mommy, assuming you gave birth to me at this so year, how old would I have been by now?
Okay. Deep. You first be stunned by stunned by the question who it's coming from, really.
At 3 years, I was like, I don't understand. But you are not as old as that. Before I will answer, the one is next to answered gave the correct answer. I said, this is interesting. So you will see that there are times you think you are stressed and you really don't want them coming around to disturb. You see some interesting things coming from them and you say, like, no. You now pull yourself out even though you are tired, you want to listen to them, you want to hear what they have to say. You understand that? Gradually, it now begins to fade away.
Okay.
You will now begin to see this is not the time to scream.
Okay.
This is not the time to this is the time to mentor. So you grow to when you begin to mentor them. This is what you are supposed to do to get it right.
Okay.
You understand? That is when they become teenagers going to adults. You see that stage of mentoring. You really need God by your side. It's still not easy, but I still see that aspect as though it's much easier than when they were still tender. Yeah.
So are you saying children are more expressive than the teenagers or the adult children?
Yeah.
The younger ones are more expressive
Yeah.
than the teenagers or the adult children?
They are more expressive because you get to where you will begin to force words out of them at that teenage age.
Okay.
Yeah.
As they grow, you push them to talk. You push them into action. You push them for you to understand what is going on in their lives.
Yes.
Okay.
For instance, there was a day I woke up very early and I wanted to leave home very early that morning. I wanted my daughter to put certain things right. I didn't know she was going through something.
Okay.
So I was like, do this thing fast. I want to leave. You understand? The next thing, I just saw her in tears. I didn't know she was struggling with something. She didn't know how to talk to me about it because she felt it wasn't my business. Do you understand? It was when I was now becoming forceful.
For teenage children, not just trusting of saying it that it's not your business, but having that confidence that they trust you enough to even confide in you, and if you will give the right guidance, right?
Yeah.
That's for teenage children. Yes, I'm enjoying your story.
Yeah, because that was actually, it was her line of business.
Okay.
So she didn't want to share it with me because she felt that I wouldn't be able to give the right direction.
Okay.
But the moment I screamed and said she was delaying my going out, and I saw her in tears, I was like, come, what is your problem? This is not enough for you to shed tears, do you understand? That was when I realized that
she was going through something.
She was going through something.
Maybe even bigger than what you were going through.
And immediately she opened up and I solved the problem. She was like, I didn't know. No, I didn't know. Do you understand? So you grow up to where they will be withdrawn. So you have to look for ways to pull them out.
Okay.
Because they would think that the way you raised them, while they were growing up, you were screaming, you were beating, the same thing will still continue. I don't need to let my mom know this thing. If I let her know, she will beat me. If I let her know, she will shout, and I wouldn't want shout. You know, those kind of things. So, but by the time you pull them to yourself gradually and say that the system has changed. This is not the time to shout. This is the time to mentor them.
Me to my next question. Discipline of children. How do you discipline adult children compared to when they were much younger? We could actually use the rod to correct. We could actually use the rod to discipline. As adult children, as a mom to adult children, where does discipline come in, and how do you marry the two, discipline and love at the same time?
That's the aspect of discipline. You started it when they were much younger.
Okay.
So they grew with it. It's not, you won't wait when they were adults before you begin to discipline them.
That's right.
So they had grown up with that discipline. They won't stray from it.
What kind of discipline? You use the rod, you flog, you slap, you knock. Let's get it very clear, because we're talking to mothers.
When they were growing, you were slapping, you were shouting, you were knocking.
Okay.
And they have gotten that discipline.
Okay.
Even though you think they've not gotten it entirely, but you have inculcated discipline in them growing up. For instance, you have taught them not to lie. You have taught them to be straightforward. So by the time they grow up now, it's not when they are adult that you will now want to tell them not to tell lies. They have grown up learning not telling lies. Telling lies is wrong. Do you understand? So now they have known that, so they grow with that. It is not time to begin to hit and shout when they are teenagers or when they are adults. Now you call them, come. I don't like this thing. This is not how it's supposed to be, and they know.
So it's more talking.
Yes, it's
so
more
what happens when we find moms, by extension now, fathers, who still discipline using the rod? They use the whip, they keep flogging.
For adult children? No.
Yes.
No.
That's for you, right?
Yeah.
For you is no.
No. It's
Why
a no.
Why a no from you? We are learning, and I'm excited with what I'm hearing now.
Okay.
Why they know? Because we still find children, adult children, still being beaten, fear of being beaten by their parents once they err. Why is yours a no?
I know. I won't buy the idea of beating adult children. They have grown, they've developed bust. You understand?
That's for the girls, yes.
That's for the girls.
Maturity.
So for the father that is beginning to whip with belts,
continuing beating with belt, okay.
So if unconsciously you hit them by the bust, what do? What will the father do? The girl cannot come out to tell the father that in the process of beating me, you hit my bust.
Okay.
The girl would have been nurturing that pain. It's by accident, but it is not right.
Okay.
You understand? It's not right that you beat adult children to correct them. You mentor them, you talk to them, you advise them. This is not the time to beat. even though our fathers did that, our mothers did that when we were growing, I didn't love it. I didn't love growing up seeing me, my dad hitting me all over the place.
Flogging you.
Flogging. I didn't like that. Personally, I didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah. That shouldn't be the mode of correction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beating shouldn't be the mode of correction.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think this mode of correction, beating, talking, do you think the approach we moms of this generation are using is the ultimate, is the best? And do you think we are getting the desired results as moms to this generation of children?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
Explain it to us. Let's get it right. Because there are certain. Okay. Let's hear you. Let me hear you first.
When you call your child and perhaps you heard something,
Okay.
and you talk to your child about it, you didn't beat her, but that you know. Whatever information you got, that you know. Whatever information you got,
Okay.
you are just in that room. You are just in that room of what you were being informed of. You don't know more than that. No more than that. But when you come with that approach of talking and mentoring, the child will come out to open and tell you things that you do not even know.
Okay.
And I will want to advise parents, when your children tell you things that you don't know of, don't use them. Don't use those things against the children, because the next time the child won't talk to you again.
Wow.
Yeah. Is it not my mom that I confided in, and she used it against me? The next time the child will open up to tell you.
Wow. This is very instructive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on now. What's the biggest change you've seen in yourself as a mom to adult children? What's that biggest change? I love mom to adult children. What's that biggest change? I love to hear it.
The change is much.
Okay.
I was not good in sharing things.
Okay.
This your approach is not the right one.
Okay.
Try this, it will work for you. I do that a lot.
As a mom, what's your strongest weapon? Is it prayers? Is it tears? Some moms will tell you it's tears. Some will tell you it's prayers. Some will tell you is my partner talking with them. Which is your strong weapon or your strongest weapon in handling your adult children?
Even though I pray a lot, but my strongest weapon is talking with my children.
Oh, wow.
Communicating with them. Making them see reasons why you are telling them not to do what they are doing.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Uzezi Ipaona. Wow, you sure have beautiful thoughts to share with us on raising adult children. Thank you very much, Madam Uzezi Ipaona. And thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure.
Yes, beautiful experience, won't you say, talking with these beautiful women, especially our guest in the studio, Madam Uzezi Ipaona. Different approach for different children, especially when you are raising adult children. The approach you used raising them when they were much younger is completely different from the approach you will use when they are adult children. Be wise. Know which approach works for you and know which approach serves your children better. Don't lose your children in the altar of wanting to discipline them, wanting them to be exactly like you or exactly like your parents or exactly like the mentors you look up to. Find out, watch out, be detailed about what approach to use in raising your adult children. Well, we'll draw the curtain here on this week's edition of Mom's Diary, trusting that we've been able to touch you at that point of need, knowing exactly what to do when you're raising your adult children. When we return next week, it will be a different topic altogether. But before then, we pray that as a mom, you'll do the best you can for your children to be the best that God has made them to be. On behalf of the production crew, this is your host, Onome Iyaruwe, signing off.